How can you start 2022 off with a bang and have your sales take off like a rocket? Hi, it's Martin, and I'm excited to be here today to talk about just that. With a new year, obviously, many times we think about the new opportunities and the new things that we're going to be doing and hopefully scaling our business and having more success than we've ever had before. Well, how can we do that? In business, there's three ways to grow business. Get new customers, sell a greater amount to each customer, and sell more frequently to each customer, So in order to do that, we need to have leads. We need to find how we can take people who are suspects and turn them into prospects who've raised their hand and said they're interested in your products or services, and then how to take those prospects who become customers and what I like to call in the long term, clients. So I'm going to focus on that area today. How can we build our lead flow each and every day? So I'm going to switch to the whiteboard here. All right, I have to give myself permission. Okay, screen share. There we go. So I'm going to switch to a screen share here on my iPad. And we are going to be talking about leads. Leads for 2022. And how are we going to get those leads? There's a number of elements that we need to think about, but the first one really is just producing more content. Now, you've heard me say, and you know what, I'm going to write it down here. The three biggest challenges, 1, 2, 3, that entrepreneurs face in growing their business is increasing their reach, increasing the number of relationships that you have, and when somebody becomes a prospect, that is a new form of relationship. And then, of course, we all want more revenue and easier ways to make it, or multiple streams of income. So those are the three challenges that we face. And today I'm mainly going to be focusing on number 1, your reach. So let me give myself some space here. So again, let's focus on reach. The more new people we can reach, the more often we can reach those who are familiar with us, the more likely we are to get fresh leads. So the first element that we're going to talk about is you need to produce content. And by the way, the best way to start 2022 with a bang is right now, before 2021 ends. So if you haven't been producing content, now is the time to start. Now, this can be publishing, so anything that you put out in public. So if you make a podcast, appear in a podcast. If you have a blog or you guest write an article on a blog. You post on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whether it's an article or a video. I highly recommend videos, especially on LinkedIn. If you're in the professional realm, if you're a coach, if you do leadership, if you're a speaker, or if you're an author in business, those sorts of things. Video is the hottest marketing tool still and will keep on growing. People prefer video to reading for the most part. And then podcasting, audio. Audio is still very significant. 65 to 75% of people love to listen to audio. That way they can do it while they are doing other things, whether it's working out, commuting, doesn't really matter. So give people content in the context that they want it. So let's talk a little bit more about that. So for your content, you need two things. I want you to think about the context. People don't just want more content. They can find that, you can find that wherever you want. You go on Google, you type it in, there's hundreds of thousands of answers. What they're looking for is context. That means what can they do right now in the situation they're in with the resources they have to take the next step forward. So if it's selling online in a pandemic, right, that is very current. Or how to supplement my revenue streams as a retailer when there's lockdowns going on. That's very contextual. That's what's going on right now. Could also be holiday marketing, for example. So the context is not just the problems that they're facing, but the specific circumstances in the time period right now. That'll be more interesting to them, more helpful. And the other one is consistency. So consistency is that if you are going to put up a YouTube video once a week, every Tuesday at 2 p.m., you do. Now, frequency isn't, I'd like to think frequency builds trust, but frequency is not as important as consistency. So if you do happen to do a daily podcast and you have the bandwidth and the resources to do that, then that's great. The frequency and the consistency are there. But if you're challenged in your resources and your time, once a week, a YouTube video is just fine. And then you can use your other marketing tools to drive people towards that content. And it doesn't have to be an hour long. It can be 15 or 20 minutes, just like this training. And people appreciate the bite-sized nuggets. They appreciate the shortened, concise periods of time that give them quality information that they can go out and apply now. So I want you to think about that when you're thinking about the type of content that you're creating, right? Concise, bite-sized, immediately applicable, and they can see the results sooner, and they will want more from you. So moving on, the next one, an item I want to talk about is, let me change the color here, is convos. I only have so much space here, but that's short for conversations. I want you to think about how your content can create conversations. So for example, putting up a post that says, would you like to find out how to get more leads in 2022 than ever before? That is a post of contextual content, but I want to start a conversation with people who say, yes, that's me. I would like to do that. So here you create lead magnets. So if you've not heard that before, a lead magnet or an opt-in, it can be a PDF download, it can be a tip list, it can be a checklist, it can be a mini training or workshop. By creating consistently, again, lead magnets, you can put up content. Let's say you do one lead magnet a week or one every 2 weeks. The rest of your marketing can point to that. So I'll create a lead magnet like this one that you're listening to, but then I'll post on Facebook what I call hand-raising questions. So those are the posts you see. They're very often just text. And I'll ask if people are interested, or are they facing this problem, or are they facing this challenge. So with the one piece of information, the lead magnet, I'm pointing to it. Let me see if I can turn this red. So with the one piece of information, this lead magnet, but the other marketing, either on Instagram or anywhere else, and you point them, you ask them if they'd like it, and then you can send it to them, and then you can start a conversation. And how do you do that? Well, conversation starters begin with questions. So once that they get your lead magnet, you can ask them, did you get it? Right? So some people have challenges opening PDFs. You never know. So you ask them, did they successfully open the information? Yeah, you can then have a number of different questions to start a conversation. Because what you'd like to do is find out what their biggest challenge is, the one that they're concerned about the most, and hopefully your business or your product is going to address that problem. So it could be, do you want to have X results in Y time? Right, so do you want to have 5 more clients this month and an income of $5,000 to $7,000 more per month? That's a great question. Yes or no? You want to qualify here. So not everybody is going to be qualified for your product or service, but you want to save time, energy, and money by finding that out up front. Now, you don't just toss these people out. Obviously, you can serve them in other ways. They get the free information from, let's say, your Facebook group or your articles on LinkedIn. So it's not necessarily a total non-disservice, but it's just not appropriate for that program that you're charging. So if you need help getting clients, you may have heard of my program called Client Cash Flow. If you're ready to get more clients, then just type or comment clients down below, and we can have a conversation. So moving on to getting more leads and starting 2022 with a bang, the last part here that you really need to focus on is CTA. And what that is a call to action. So very often in our marketing, we don't stop marketing. We just keep talking about our process. We keep talking about our products. We keep talking about our customers and what they've been doing. But we need to ask. So you may have heard me say at some point in my sales training that I learned from my friend Barney Zig, was you talk about how great your lamps are, the shades, the height, the quality of the metal, whether they're antique or not if you're selling lamps at a lighting store. But at some point, you need to ask the question, want one? Want one? And really what that is just a summary of once you've had a conversation, the person seems to have rapport with you, you've built trust, and they're liking what they're hearing, and because you've been asking them, you can get to the point of saying, have I satisfied all of your questions? Yes. Would you like to move forward today? Yes. Right? Or if no, oh, what's holding back your decision today? Now I'm handling the objections, right? So I don't really want to get into a whole sales training here, but I do want to encourage you to ask, right? So actually, let me write that in red right here. Ask. So a call to action is asking them to take some action. Now, it doesn't have to be to buy. So you could post a Facebook post that says, I put together a 15-minute video training. Would you like a copy? And then they say yes. That's a call to action. I ask you to type or comment clients below if you want to find out how you can get 2 to 5 more clients per month, right? So that's an ask. That's a call to action. You can do it in an article, even if it's in a traditional offline printed magazine in your byline where it says who you are and what you do. You can drive them online by saying go to nomorebackpain.com for your free ebook on how to eliminate back pain, right? So there's always a way that you can have a call to action. So it can be an actual telephone call, it can be an email, it can be a click, any sort of direction that sends them on to the next level of your marketing, right? So the next important part here, just change my color back, and that is the other elements in a call to action. An important one is a deadline. So you can have a deadline around a bonus. So the first 3 people who reply, you can have a deadline around a promo. That could be pricing, right? It could be special pricing or a discount. It could be an extension of services. So for me, the Client Cash Flow program is a year-long program. But if I wanted to do promotion, I could extend that for 6 months for access in the community and group coaching. So you just got to get creative around your deadlines. So give them a reason to act now. So just to summarize here, we are focused mainly on reach today because we're talking about how to get more leads in 2022. The first thing you need to do is do it now. Double down on the activity that you're doing right now. Some people sit back and then they start cold in January, but then they don't see results till February. You want to try and book those calls, those conversations right now. So increase the amount of content that you're putting out. And again, you can do that by looking at the context. You can look at your consistency. It doesn't have to be a big project. It can be a 2-minute video. It can be a 400-word post on Facebook or on your blog, right? So start having more consistency, having more context in your content, and publish. Next, you want to be looking at how many conversations are you having. So remember I talked about those hand raisers that can drive people to a lead magnet. Use those lead magnets to be the conversation starters and the questions you ask to get people's attention. Finally, the call to action, you need to ask. Ask them to do something that shows that their problem is actually stimulating them enough to do what you're asking them to do. Whether, again, it's a click, a call, or send you something, or post or comment below. So don't forget those deadlines that apply, that sort of influence and psychological pressure, and that's a deadline, whether it's for bonuses, pricing, or extensions, or extra services. So I hope that helps you get in the mindset for getting more clients and more leads in 2020. So I want to wish you all the best. If you have questions, DM me here. And for those of you who want more clients, just type or comment clients below. I'll see you next time.